Nazneen, I don't think it's on. Is it audible?
Hello, hello.
Yours is audible, okay, we'll keep. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prince, for sharing this film. I'm sure it was a very, very difficult film to make. I mean, it's quite emotional. It kind of, swings, where you keep wondering what is going to happen. And the way you've balanced the characters who are on the fringes of society, like Praklon and Sailesh, with those of your friends is so interesting. So, I mean, Praklon really grows on you as the film moves. In the beginning you wonder what is happening. And then when you see his character arc, you're really drawn in, and he has such a positive, inspirational kind of character he is. Just the way he goes around shaking hands and, spinning yarns, it's fantastic. And this is also, all this is happening in the city of Bombay, which is a city of dreams, of illusions. But so can you tell us how when did you meet Praklon? How did you decide to make a film on him and around him? And how did you really frame the narrative and, by bringing in your friends, by bringing in this counterpoint?
So basically, I never thought in my life I'll make documentary or documentaries. We were watching Johnny Gaddar, me, Asif, and a couple of other friends. We saw the film and we just came down from the theater, and we were very loud in our early 20s and discussing the film. And this old gentleman, he just joins our conversation outside the theater. And he basically contributes and we talk, and then he's like, I'm a former associate of Guru Dutt. And we were like, wow, because that time Pyasa and Kagas Ke Phool and all, like Guru Dutt. So same night we hung out at another friend's house, like my friend's house in Bhaikalla in South Bombay, till 4 a.m. in the morning with Praklon. And we exchanged numbers and then we forgot about it. We were like, wow, we met the associate of Guru Dutt. And then in 2013, I was making a short film with Asif, where he was playing a watchman and he was also playing a thief. So I was highly influenced by Kamal Haasan, and I wanted one actor to play 7-8 roles, Asif. So that one day we shot, and it was raining a lot in July, and I still remember 13 July it was, and then I'm like, I'm bored of eating. So I was assisting also parallelly to make my career in films, and I just was too frustrated assisting on films. So I just told my crew, if you guys are not supporting me in this short film, I will make a film, on Praklon, like on, and they started debating, Asif and Vadut started debating, and I shot on iPhone 5. And then I started stalking and following Praklon. And same year, there was a movie which had also gotten an Oscar called Searching for Sugar Man, a documentary. So some parts of that film were also shot on iPhone 5. So that kind of gave me some, courage. So I started shooting Praklon, and then I started meeting Asif and Vadut. And then, I was very fascinated by their conversation, and even like the reason to make the film was our collective curiosity and quest of why is Praklon saying what he's saying. So we made the film because of our curiosity and quest. And I never knew like Asif and Vadut will organically be a part of the film. It's just that because I was curious and we used to hang out together, and we all used to be filmmakers. Like now they've left filmmaking, as you saw, but we were like just very curious. That is why we made this film, the whole question, and just to find truth. So if I was going to watch a movie, I just opened my phone and asked Asif, what do you want to say about Praklon today? So it's just like, where is the proof? So there is that montage. So yeah, it just like became a part of the narrative.
Yeah. So in a sense, if you didn't have your friends in there, it could have been a voyeuristic film, but by bringing this whole discussion around illusion and whose reality is believable, it makes it something, it becomes a conversation that actually you as a filmmaker are having through this film. But I was also interested in how you look at the city Bombay of Mumbai. Because, even like say in this new Payal Kapadia's, all we imagine is like the recent Khan film, she shoots it in Bombay, and it's about female friendship in the city in the monsoon, you know. And it's about, I mean, she mentions in interviews, I haven't watched it as yet, but she mentions how difficult the city is to survive in. And in a sense, you get that very strongly in your film. Because you focus on these people on the fringes. So, you know, how do you see the city in the film as a character, and what was your attempt to kind of highlight it, you know, as a place where different kinds of people exist?
So it was not like a conscious choice to have the city. We are like, I'm from Bombay, and I know like so I've never felt the pain for an outsider when they have to pay rent or so. But I through making of the film, I realized at a point in the edit that it doesn't matter if what Praclon is saying, what he's saying, we should not judge him. And the city just happened to be there, like, because Sailesh lives on the road. I know Sailesh because I was in college. Like, he used to stay in Marine Drive, and my college was there in Marine Drive, Jayant. And the city just organically, because we followed them, it just became a part of it. So this conversation about Bombay being a city of dreams and all, like, was not conscious choice. It just I agree with you, it's a very difficult city to survive. But I have been a little privileged because I am born and brought up in the city. But I have a lot of friends who pay rent, and it's very difficult. Even now, like since the last 3-4 months, there's no work. So I talk to them often. And but to be honest, there was never a plan to celebrate Bombay or showcase Bombay. It's just that wherever our characters, if Praclon was going for a protest of Palestine, we followed him, or if he was fighting for a Campa Cola building thing, we followed him. So it was not a conscious choice. Yeah.
So he kind of framed you.
Yes.
In a way, framed the narrative. So I'd like to open it out to the audience if you'll have any questions.
Yeah.
Mike or Tira? Illy. Yeah. Thanks. First.
Hello.
Yeah.
So I was curious to know about why the movie's name is Moon on the Man, and who suggested the name, and what was there in the mind for this name?
So, like, basically, Moon on the Man, like, from Praclon's perspective, from his reality, he has achieved so much. Like, he's almost like gone to the moon, or like Vadut says, he's gone to Mount Everest from Praclon's reality. Even Sailesh had a glorious past, like he has acted in 60 films and now he lives on the road, but he has also touched like little bit of success. So, and also Moon has to do something with, madness, like lunar eclipse. And one of my favorite films is Man on the Moon. It features Jim Carrey. He played Andy Kaufman, and Andy Kaufman, in reality, what he did, he was a stand-up comic. What he told the world is that he's dead. And he comes back after 6 months in real life. He played a live prank on people, on his family and friends. He told everyone he's dead. Like, he created that scene, but he came back in 6 months. So it was like a prank, which kind of the setup for us, like, also started like, why is he saying, what is he saying? So kind of like fell into place. So that is why, like, these are like, it's our homage to that film. And also it's like, it builds curiosity, like Moon on the Man kind of a thing. So yeah, earlier title was Praclon, but then it became very specific about Praclon, because even Sailesh is like a central character. So yeah, we changed the title then.
It was very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, there, I think.
Hi, thank you for the lovely movie. I'm still trying to understand the bits and parts of it and join them together. One question is the Mirror Man.
Yeah.
Could you please talk about him and the essence, how we should be able to fit that person in the whole narrative?
So only the Mirror Man is the fictionalized thing which I directed. Otherwise, everything is like real. Like nothing else is. It's like a documentary. It's nothing is planted except the Mirror Man. Mirror Man actually came out later as transitions in post-production in edit actually, because we were thinking that of course the film is about these four people, but it also kind of reflects our own lives because we also plan something, we also have dreams. So Mirror Man is kind of like showing the mirror to the audience. So that was the idea, theory wise. Practically I don't know how much we succeeded, but that was like we've planted it like six, 7 times just to have transitions and also to show a mirror to the audience, kind of a device. So yeah, that is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for your work. I wanted to ask, I think you answered that question also. I wanted to ask, what is the scripted nature of this documentary? I think we see some BTS scene also in between the movie, some kind of BTS scenes. So I just wanted to know the process. How much was like, how were you going to them and what was the discussion? Something like that.
So honestly, like I genuinely had no idea that I will complete. When I say I'm talking about my team, initially whoever had a camera became the cinematographer, but then one cinematographer stuck because also he happened to stay like 100 meters away from my building, and Praklon and Sailesh also used to live in South Bombay. So it started like we never had a visual treatment because we were also finding the film, and mostly we shot Sailesh in the night because there was silence. Like Mumbai has a lot of traffic in the day, so we didn't have any sound equipment. We shot like 90% of the sound is from iPhone, so we kept iPhone in their pockets. It was a 2-people crew, me and the DOP cinematographer, and there was no Praklon and Sailesh became very close friends actually. So it was very important for us to be sensitive with them, to have their trust, and it actually didn't after a point matter to them if there was a camera or no, because they were talking to us as if we were one of their friends. So it just became like a whole roller coaster ride hanging out with them. And there was no plan, like there was no, we didn't have any lenses. Facebook, Instagram, social media helped us if we wanted some wide lens. So there are like few wide lens shots which we sprinkled in the film. We shot only for 2 days, but otherwise it's a lot of mixed media, like a lot of different cameras actually. So we never rented any camera. All the people, even now, like it's a documentary, everyone's worked pro bono. And the whole process has been really, we made it with a lot of innocence, and because there was a curiosity and quest, so there was no plan in terms of visual treatment. Even the BTS actually, they, you know, I get the credit for directing, but I think Praklon, Sailesh and Vadut have directed the film, you know, because Vadut kind of leads the narrative. If you see, he talks about reality, he talks about brain in a vat, he's the one who's telling us if no, there is absence of evidence. So we just happen to capture that. So it's actually like 3 of them guiding the film, you know. So yeah, we were lucky to just capture that.
Yeah. So I just have a question is that, see, Praklon is a huge cinema buff.
Yes.
He knows all the songs, he's into films. And how did he feel about being one of the, you know, central characters and kind of, you can see he's shaping the narrative, telling
Yes.
you what you, and so was there a discussion outside your filming about the film, about his role in the film, and how did he react?
Yeah. Initially, for the first few years, outside the film, when camera was not there, we were just asking, like, get us a proof, and we can, like, because we told him that Asif is always questioning you, and off the record, it was just him talking about his freedom movements or working with Guru Dutt and all. And even in front of camera, we had to edit a lot because it became very boring and repetitive. So, aisa kuch, like he had a very social, active social life, because he used to give a lot of law advices. He goes for protests. So he had a very happening life, we just followed him, and then it kind of shaped. But we, when he saw the film also, he was like, show a lot about Guru Dutt. Let me talk about a lot of Guru Dutt moments. Let me talk a lot about freedom moments, which we found it boring, which we've shot also, but we found it boring, yeah.
But this thing he says about Pagal,
Yes.
how do you get that scene? I mean, do you question him on?
No, so this was 7 o'clock in the morning. Full night we were chilling together, shooting and hanging out. And then he was hungry. We wanted to have breakfast. He took us to his Irani cafe where he usually has his meals. And he was in a very good mood that day. So we just kept rolling, and we rolled for 2 hours, and we found this gem of Pagal. Because this was again camera is here and we are just talking, then he forgets, because even I forget, because he is such an intimidating person. So even I, we used to forget that we are shooting. So it just
So it was a conversation?
It was a conversation, yeah.
So you brought that Pagalness in?
Yes, it just came out organically. So yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sir, could you use the mic?
Thank you so much.
And how long did it take for you to shoot this? And then I'm sure you would have reams of, not reams, but mega or terabytes of film. How long did it take for you to edit it?
A lot, actually. So like I told you that we didn't have any experience of shooting any documentaries. Over the course of the film, we got really sensitive because Praklon lives in a red light area of Bombay, Kamatipura, and we had a lot of exotic shots with him interacting with the sex workers. My first week of being with Praklon at his place till the last week, I was also very, I changed as a person, and I had a very different idea about red light area. And it took us around 3-4 years editing the film, but not constantly, because the editor Ashish also has had a day job. He worked on a lot of other films as ADs, and so whenever we had breaks between projects, we used to work on this film, again shooting wise and post-production wise. Last year I had to stop myself from filming and editing, actually, because Sailesh has been doing other things in his life. So we keep shooting it, and now we have tried to stop ourselves to shoot Sailesh and add him. So this cut has a lot of new things, which she must have seen a year ago or 2 years ago. So it has taken a lot of time, actually, because we were finding the film in edit. So post-production took a lot of time. Earlier cuts had us judging him and then coming to a conclusion, what is he saying, and then after a year Sailesh's character came, so then he became an organic part in the film. So it took us a long, it's a labor of love, so it's an experiment. So yeah, thank you.
So Prince, sorry, yeah.
How long, when did we start shooting?
We started shooting on 13 July 2013. So I still remember that day because that is the debate Asif and Wadood had. So we've just kept one shot in the montage because that was the first day from my iPhone. So in that Dhrupat classical music, there is one shot where Asif and Wadood are discussing. That was our first day, and there I saw there is a film here because there is a nice conflict to Asif and Wadood. Also, we are such good friends, so it just came out without any filter or wall. So from 2013 till last year, but again, I don't tell anyone watch the film with that baggage because it's just our madness and our obsession and thing with the film. But yeah, it took us a lot of time, majorly to find the film, to succeed in our reality with this experiment. So yeah.
There's a complete absence of women in your film.
Yes.
And I mean, that's something that stayed with me, except for, of course, Smriti Irani, you see. But otherwise, yeah, and the city you don't see, and maybe those sex workers, but otherwise, you don't see women.
So, again, not a conscious choice, like a bunch of guys hanging out. Asif and Ashish are my college friends.
Yeah.
Wadood was also in my college, but it's
even
just...
framing, you don't see any women.
Yeah.
In the city.
Yes. It's
strangely
I mean, there are a couple of shots where Praklon is shaking hands with women, but I agree to you, and it's not a conscious choice. Even in my crew, actually, I've been asked this. I educated myself. In my crew, at least, I would have had. So that's a thing we missed out on. But to my, because Sailesh, as I mentioned, we used to shoot late in the nights. So we used to sleep like at 9, 10 p.m. and then wake up at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, take the bike. Me and my DOP used to steal his father's bike in the night. Late night we used to go and quickly shoot Sailesh and come back. So, and there was just, you saw Asif wearing shorts, you know. So it was just very open, like aisa kuch wo nahi tha. But now as I am a little experienced, I am very conscious about, But I agree to you. I agree to crew में हो सकते थे तो
Yes, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, sorry. Yes, one second. I just take the mic.
Hi. So I could see Asif and the other person debate on your reality being influenced by someone else. And whatever you do and whatever other people did have a very big influence on what you do in your life. So this is more like a story about just another man just another man you meet on the road. And what is your influence to make a film on these people? Just to tell a story about two men.
I mean, so the film started with the curiosity and quest of Praclon, the old guy. Why is he saying? What is he saying? Such a unique guy who sings songs and who's so entertaining, and we believed in him. And then Asif is like, he needs a proof. So it was never a conscious choice to make a film on these two friends. They just happened to organically be a part of it. The itch, the quest, the curiosity to find Praclon's truth is why we made the film actually. And then these two friends were a part of finding the truth in that whole scenario. So they just like became a voice, because I personally don't like supers and voiceovers in films. So they became a nice device to get into lives of Praclon and Sailesh. And reality, as I mentioned earlier, Vadut actually guided, because I'm not that wise and I'm very naive actually. So so Vadut kind of guided,
Yeah, but it's not a naive film, so you don't need to say that. I think there are many layers and, many things that you still continue to think about. So thank you so much, Prince, especially for coming down and sharing this film, for making such an interesting film. I think it's important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you
And
so
good
much
luck.
for coming. And if you guys are on Letterboxd, please write about it on Letterboxd. It'll help us, our film. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And thank you for coming for our screenings. Our next one is on August 2nd, Seed Stories. Thank you.